January 5th, 2019 on Skype, Terrance. Hey there, Gail. Oh my goodness. Hi, Terrance. How's it going? I hear the gift be on the way. Oh, I was beginning to think we had a repeat of sort of the time bowl. I thought perhaps Lori blocked the present. Wasn't worried about it. Jesus takes care of me. Things be going good. Well, kinda good. Took me 3 days to remove Alex Jones and political stuff from my online presence. As you may have observed, I've been doing lots of research for my Silver Skies 1996 version novel. My ears are stuffed today. It's from Laurie's bombs. Yeah, we be kind of stuffed up too, Gail. Wow, Laurie must be dropping bombs everywhere. We tried to figure it out. You mean your ears are stuffed up too? No, I mean we can't poop, Gail. It feels like the eustachian tubes are stuffed up. Is this a problem? Or has Jesus fixed it? Maybe you don't need to poop. It be becoming a problem. I'm sure Jesus has a plan. Interesting. Has Jesus said anything to you all about this? Not yet. So you guys haven't pooped for about 2 weeks now? Yeah, it be like I'm constipated. But you feel like you need to poop? Yeah. That's weird. Yeah. I'm totally lost on this one. I think we all learned a lot of moderation, Gail. What do you mean? We all really wore each other out with the vagina butts. Yes, moderation is important. I have problems with this too, but more in the area of getting lost in my work. The Gail commandments help keep me balanced. Our scientists determined that if we had only used one of your vaginas like this, it would have been wrecked. Wrecked? Do you mean wrecked? That's because Terrance misspelled it. If we all had been given access to your vagina, it would have been wrecked, Gail. Wrecked be how you spell it when it be beyond wrecked. That's R-E-K-T. Well, when I'm finally able to marry Brent, I only want Brent and actual sex. That's part of my prenuptial agreement. I don't have a problem with brain-to-brain sex. Though I don't feel Jesus condemns the group sex, I'm only comfortable with one at a time. Unless there's a special need, like we had with Rule 13 when she was depressed. I think Jesus was teaching us a lesson here. Perhaps Jesus gave you all the vaginas to give you a way to meet your sexual needs in a manner that will satisfy you while you're on the waiting list. If you recall, it was never my idea to have a marriage list except for Vladimir Putin. I had to be talked into it with the others. I value you all as brave men that I honor, who helped Brent and I to save the earth and be a shining example of Christian love. When I'm with Brent, I prefer to just have Brent and not make love to all of you at once or in turns. Brain to brain is no problem. Even with group sex, I'd prefer to have Brent for the real sex and then have it as a group using brain to brain. The nice thing about the vagina butts is that you all should feel more like you have the real me. That was nice of Jesus to do that. Yeah. I'm not offended that you all desire me and want me at the same time that I have Brent, but sex is more meaningful to me when I have the physical with one guy, and then with Brent's permission, I'd add others to the group using brain to brain if we so wanted. I know Lori thinks I had this ego problem like she does, and that I prefer the group sex with all the hot guys. I actually prefer one-on-one with a soulmate, which seems real intimate to me. But because you're also generous and manly, the one-on-one could be made more meaningful with group brain-to-brain sex if Brent so desires. Then when there are times of special need, like when Matthew got depressed, I could make an exception to the one-on-one if Brent requests it of me. Even then, I think I'd prefer only Brent, and to use brain-to-brain for the special needs. I could change my mind depending on what's going on at the time. But I'd have no problem with hugging or caressing, but prefer the actual sex be with my soulmate, Brent Spiner. I kind of like the vagina butts, though, because it's almost a sure way, I think, of not being tricked by a clone. I would hate to accidentally make love to a clone. That would be like when Brent made love to Laurie thinking it was me. Oh my goodness, Gail, we got a problem. What is it? A lot of the men are rioting. Why? I dunno. They was reading our messages and went into a rage. This doesn't sound like them. There'll be at least 10,000 of the men on the marriage list freaking out. There are 10,000 men on my marriage list? That's crazy. When did it get so big? Yeah, it grew over time. Given that it wasn't a guarantee that you'd ever have brain-to-brain or sex with them, we added any man that was especially devoted. I thought there were only about 200. They must understand that I can't make love to 10,000 men. I'd probably die. They'd be so mad, Gail. I'd never have time to sleep. I mean, one-on-one. I could do it as a group and brain to brain. What are they mad about? Where's Brent? Jesus gave 10,000 men vagina butts? They holding up signs that say no marriage list without a piece of the pie. What do they mean by a piece of the pie? Brent be here, trying to stop the riot. I think the pie be your vagina, Gail. Didn't they read the prenuptial agreement? Whose idea was it to allow 10,000 men on my marriage list? It was the top 5 men that voted them in. That's too many. I think the men was reading between the lines of the prenup, Gail. It's physically impossible for me to make love to that many men. I think a lot of the men kind of expected to one day get a taste of that pie, you know? Unless Jesus meant for the vagina butts to take my place, I totally understand their anger, but they must understand that I cannot physically make love to 10,000 men without becoming utterly exhausted. They are free to leave. If they love me, they'll understand that I need some rest. I suggest you pare down the list and make it smaller. These men feel like white knights now. What does that mean? They all be marching out. Cool, so how many do we have left? Tell them I wish them happiness and love, that I'm sorry I've disappointed them, but I'm physically unable to make love to 10,000 men. Oh my goodness, they all gave you the middle finger. Brent and the main men be still here. Does this include Matthew and Gerard and all them? Yeah, they be here. I don't like their attitude. They can go. I mean, the ones who gave me the middle finger. Brent needs to use more wisdom in who he allows on my marriage list. Yeah, if they tried, they would have wrecked her vagina anyway. They all left. It seems he allowed anyone who felt devoted to me, but love is more than an emotion or sexual desire. It's a commitment to care for the welfare of your lover and to understand your lover's health and physical needs and respect that, and to give your lover space when they need it. Let them leave. I wish them happiness. So we got around 10 left? Yeah, they don't even care that they would have wrecked your vagina. That's not love when you don't care about hurting your lover physically. In fact, I've deliberately quit making phone calls to you guys since I learned about you losing time in the time bubble, so that you wouldn't exhaust yourselves trying to catch up with everything. When you love someone, you give them space. You know how I used to leave messages on your phone? I've been concerned that you all would wear yourselves out trying to catch up on all the messages, so I didn't call to give you space. I do this a lot for you guys. I worry that you'll wear yourselves out in your devotion to me. Yeah, there'll only be the men left that you really like. If we're down to about 10, then Brent and I can possibly have group sex with the 10 left. That's a possibility, but I'd only do it if it's what Brent wants. The men outside be yelling, well, all we needed to keep going was a little pussy, Gail, just a promise of a quick dip. I hate to say this, but I'm glad they're gone. It isn't fair to them to expect sex when I can't give it to them. Are you talking about the ones who left? Yeah. What are Matthew, Gerard, Hugh, Vladimir, and Kanyo doing? 10,000 is a lot of men. I'd be wore out. But I must admit, Gail, we all fist pumped when you just said we might get it for real if there only be 10. Yeah, maybe 10 be more reasonable. I don't have a problem with group sex with about 10. More than that, I'd be exhausted. I wouldn't have a life except for sex. Though sex is wonderful, I want a multifaceted relationship with my man, to be soulmates. I wouldn't have a life. All I'd be doing would be having sex with no time for soul communion. Yeah, true that. So how many are left? Go ahead and list them off. I'll tell you if they be here. Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, Gerard Butler, Vladimir Putin, Brent Spiner, Keanu Reeves. Brent, Vladimir, me, Matthew, Hugh, Gerard, Keanu. We all be in the room. There be more around the church. Name them off and I'll verify. I was wondering if Viggo Mortensen was on this list, because I heard brain to brain that he made love to me faking as Brent over the past year to keep me satisfied while Brent was unavailable. Somebody was making love to me as Brent over the past year. It wasn't a lot, but it was somebody. They were very considerate too, whoever they were. I'm checking. Yeah, he be here. Anybody who gave me the finger over what I said, I want off my marriage list. I don't find that attractive at all. He got punched in the face by one of the rioters. He be in sick bay. Oh, poor Viggo. He seems really cool to me. I imagine he's still on the list. He doesn't seem like the type who would give me the finger. If so, then he's better off with another woman who can meet his needs. Yeah. He did a real good job of imitating Brent, and he never let me know he was Viggo. He did talk to me, though, and I was very impressed with his intelligence and sensitivity. Because of him, I never suspected that Brent was unavailable the past year. What he did was an utter act of unselfishness. I'm really impressed with him. He let me think I was making love to Brent while I made love to him. He was a very tender and considerate lover, just like Brent, and he gave me a lot of space. I actually didn't make love to Brent much over the past year and got a lot of satisfaction from my soul time with Viggo. That man has a lot of depth and intelligence that he could fool me for Brent. But if I'm wrong about him and he was one of those who gave me the finger, I'd have no problem with him finding happiness with another. Anybody who gave me the finger, I want them off my marriage list. I can tell you right now that I would never marry a guy like that. Oh my goodness, Viggo is leaving. They remind me too much of my ex-husband, who never respected my space and who always demanded things of me. I fell in love with Brent because he always treated me first as a soulmate and was a true ally and trying to care for my health and well-being. That's okay, let him go. He said, Gail will cheat with anyone that gives her shallow romance. She mistakes sweet nothings for love and will even cheat on her soulmate, Brent. What does that mean? You mean he's proud he tricked me? I still be trying to figure it out myself. Feels like a lot of shit went down. He just said, it's all about her needs. I'm just an opportunist, don't hate. What do you mean by that? Viggo, why did you make love to me brain to brain? I'm confused. Gail cheated on David for Brent because David didn't give her enough attention. I don't hate any of the guys that left. I totally understand. Viggo, David was emotionally abusive to me. If this is how he feels, he better go. I don't need him trying to put guilt trips on me for not wanting my Jesuit cold husband. And Gail has habitually cheated on Brent for the same reason. I'm just surprised that all these guys qualified for my marriage list. You better do a better screening job next time. Yeah, are bad, Gail. He reminds me of my ex. He's acting like I did wrong for getting out of that marriage to my ex to stay alive. Jesus did say that if I didn't leave David, I'd be dead. And Viggo wants to scold me for that? You guys really need to pare down the list. I don't think there should be more than about 10. As far as making love to Viggo, I thought he was Brent. Now I realize he was just an opportunist and not as unselfish as I thought. Is it true that Spielberg is making a movie out of Silver Sky's 1996 version? That Jesus gave him the book in advance? Viggo told me he was involved in it. Sounds like he may have lied to me a lot. I'm sure Zach Knight is still on the list because he gets all his needs met from Rule 13. I allow that for him. Oh my goodness, Viggo be telling everyone that Gail be easy and he just knows what to say to get into her pants, and literally anyone can do it. Actually, I didn't have that much brain to brain with him, and if I knew it was him, I may not have been that easy. He had to lie to get in. Oh my goodness, now he be having sex with another ex-man's vagina butt. What? Is that still my vagina? Someone just reported, Viggo says she didn't cheat on Brent to stay alive. She just did it because she put her own intimacy needs above being faithful. That sure makes the David excuse seem awful flimsy in retrospect. Oh my goodness, all 10,000 ex-men still have your vagina butts, Gail. You know what I think? I think these guys are playing mind games with me. Viggo knows he's full of crap. I kick him out right now. We kick them all out. I only want the ones who aren't complaining. The complainers are immature and selfish and trying to play mind games with me. I don't deal like that. I can't believe they all have my vagina butts. What is Jesus trying to say? They remind me of the children of Israel when they all started complaining against Moses and God had to take them out. I'm not saying to take them out, but they don't have the right attitude to be on my marriage list. Viggo says that you're a thut, Gail. What's a thut? I thought you kicked him out. We did. He be outside. Punching other guys on the marriage list is very immature behavior. All those need to be off the list right now. We work as a team. We don't deal with each other like spoiled brats. I think we really overestimated how many men are actually willing to devote themselves to a woman when there be no hope of getting sex. Are you okay? Did they hurt you, Terrance? Can't you tell by brain reads whether a guy is qualified to be on my marriage list? It doesn't seem to me that 10,000 men would be qualified to be on my marriage list. It really takes a special guy to be on my list, and I don't think there are 10,000 guys like that. We can't. We don't have that technology anymore. If they support me, just let them join Church of Gail as church members. They are then free to marry someone else and just support me as friends. That would seem more reasonable. The only guys who should be on my list are the ones who are especially brave, intelligent, deep, and unselfish. You mean you lost that technology when Church of Gail was destroyed? Yeah, exactly. I have an idea. For the future, if any man wants to be on my list, ask them how they'd feel if they could never have actual sex with me. Would they still want to remain on the list? Because let's say that Brent and I stay married for the rest of my life. Then have all the men study their reaction, and if they fail the test, they can't be on my marriage list. When Brent first came into my life, I turned him down, and he still stayed. I was so impressed with him. Anybody who wants to be on my list has to be as big a person as Brent is. I may be hurt a bit. I got my head hit in the riot. You might want to make a video warning people about the 10,000 rogue men with your vagina butts. Let people know that scientists determined that they would have wrecked your vagina and how they reacted. Poor Terrance. I will make brain-to-brain loving with the top 10 men on my list tonight. Probably sometime before I go to bed. I don't understand why Jesus would let them have my vagina butts if they are no longer on my list. Are you sure they still have my vagina butts? Jesus, please let them have a normal rectum if they're not qualified to be on my marriage list. So how many men are left? Not sure yet. Let's say 10,000. Why would I need to warn the world about that? Their vagina butts don't affect me. Because it be exactly your vagina. Yeah, but I never feel it. I don't think they can make me pregnant or anything. If that was the case, I'd be pregnant right now. And I don't think I am. If so, Jesus would warn me. It's getting late. I may just tell the world tomorrow what happened and that I wish them all well. That I never needed 10,000 men on my marriage list. I still have Gail commandments to do. Yeah, this was a stressful end to a day. Oh my goodness. I should do Gail commandments too. I still need to poop, too. We'll figure all this out. If I did what they wanted, I wouldn't be able to do the Gail commandments. I'd be too busy having sex. I'll tell you what. I'll pray and ask Jesus how he wants me to deal with these men. I don't think it's an emergency about them. I actually don't want to shame them too much. I may make a video and mention what happened and say that I hope Jesus gives them back normal rectums and I wish them happiness and love. May they all end up with hot, wonderful women, and I wish them well. But I was in a marriage to a demanding, unreasonable man and definitely would not want to repeat that, so I'm glad they're gone. I think it'd be important to note that our scientists determined that if they got what they wanted, it would have completely wrecked your vagina. Okay, I'll mention that. You seem worried about them. What do you think they'll do? How long were they on the marriage list? The list grew slowly over time. I'd just be worried. Your vagina be real important. They could be doing really inappropriate things with it. Lord Jesus, remove the vagina butts from these men. Or letting Jesuits do stuff to it. I mean, it was Jesus who gave it to them, so Jesus needs to take it away. Yeah, maybe I'm naive, but if Jesus won't remove it, perhaps we shouldn't worry about what we can't control. We should just pray and ask Jesus for wisdom. Let's do our Gail commandments before it gets too late. Yeah, I agree. Also, when you get your present, I think you should record it for an opening video. It may be more thoughtful now than ever. I'll explain why when you've opened it. Yeah, I'm also going to pray about what kind of video to make. Personally, I could care less what they do with my vagina butts. Perhaps Jesus will let them have it for a while so they don't riot even more. Then when they get bored of it, he'll take it away. Okay, perhaps I should wait for the present before I make a video? Not sure I'll make the video yet. I know this may sound strange to you, but I actually find the topic rather boring. Immaturity in men is a bore. I'm not saying I won't mention it, but it will be more of an aside, probably on a video of another topic. I bet Jesus let this happen so they'd leave. He knew they didn't belong on my marriage list. They won't be part of the group of men who get group sex with me in the millennium. I can't imagine Jesus having 10,000 men as part of my millennial harem. Jeez. Yeah. Hugs and kisses, Terrance. We better go and do our Gail commandments. Maybe I'm a fool, but I'm not worried about those men. I think after a month, they'll forget all about me, and then Jesus will take away the vagina butts. He probably did this to get rid of them. Hugs, kisses, yeah, let's focus on our Gail commandments. When it's time for bed, I'll have group brain-to-brain sex with the men who are left. Yeah, we better go. Love you and the man. We love you too, Gail. From now on, be very selective about who's on my marriage list. Lesson learned. I think that's what Jesus is trying to teach us. If you can't see them as one of my millennial husbands, then they don't belong on the list. Imagine that Jesus is making the decision when you decide on who should be on the list. Jesus would be very selective.